people. I'm sorry. First time ever that I'm having to move the live up. But I'm gonna still give it a little bit of time for people to come in because I originally told y'all noon, but be a little 30 minutes early. One, because the episode did what the episode did, and I don't got time to be waiting around for All American. I need to get this over with and go ahead. Y'all know I got a flight tonight, so that's why we're not going live tonight. But we in here. Hey Jalen, what's up, boo? You the first one up in here. Um, y'all, y'all. I don't know what else to say, but y'all, why did the All American folks want to stress me out so bad? Do y'all know? Anybody know? I would love the feedback. I would love to better understand the why and the hows behind what's going on at the All American camp. Okay, let me make sure I am live, y'all. Now my little BDB sticking out down here back here. I cannot wait to get back to my house because I need to deep condition. I need a hair mask. I need a lot. This her needs help. Okay. Okay, so we're live. 4 people. Say what's up if you in the chat. Hey, Brittany. Welcome in, boo. Just want to make sure I can. Okay. We are live. Yay. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time. So just come on in here. I know we're early. This is off schedule. But again, I had to get it done. And shout out to my sister. It's her birthday today. I got to call her. She's based in Alaska. Child, my sister's in Alaska, honey. And it's her birthday today. My youngest sister's birthday today. Hey, Shari Boo. How are you? Welcome in. Members, y'all should have seen I posted the live reactions already just a little bit ago though. Like it just got cleared by YouTube, so I think I just made it live like an hour or so ago. So y'all already know what to expect. Members, y'all already know what I'm coming with on this live. And I mean, unless y'all got some real dope things that we need to discuss, I feel like we're getting out of here in an hour because I really don't know. I really don't know, y'all, what is going on in the All American universe. We are almost halfway through the season, which technically I guess we will be halfway because they're doing 15 episodes this season. And I don't know. Drop y'all's ratings. Hey, Kofi, welcome in, boo. Come on, watch it from your desk at work. Just keep the earphones in, honey, because I can't promise. I can't make no promises. The way I feel about this episode, I can't make no promises. Shout out to Antonio. Antonio texted the group chat, was like, is it just me or did this episode feel like a bunch of deleted scenes put together? It's the accurate description for me. Oh, they do this now. That's cool. Drop y'all's ratings on a scale of 1 to 10. What are you rating the episode? How you feeling about the episode and what went down? What went down? I don't want to start, going off on my thoughts and opinions until y'all put y'all ratings in there because I ain't trying to sway nobody and I want people to get their lovely, if you really enjoyed the episode, I want you to get that off, honey. Get that off and enjoy that. John says, I hate that you guys are doing live streams this early because I'm at work, but I already said what I said in the comments. I knew this was going to happen. I'm sorry. I have a flight later. That's why I had to do this so early. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Next week, we'll be back to the regular schedule programming. Your eyes do not deceive you. We are live this early because during our regular time, I will be on a plane. I'm sorry. Am I still muted? It might be that scene. Hold on one second. Let me make sure this is clear. Okay, that's there. That's there. Oh, the wavelength is not reading. Okay, give me 1 second. Test, test, test. Test. Is it echoing? Test, test, test. Is it echoing, y'all? I think I have two things going on right now. I'm so sorry. I think it's not messed up anymore, but I'm not sure. So y'all gotta let me know. I think it's okay. Okay, Shark says good now. All right, what I said was, Kofi, you're gonna have to tell me. You're gonna have to tell me, sir. Please tell me that you gave it a 9 because of the amazing amount of Asher content. You think it was a great episode, Kofi, because of the Asher content. Please tell me that that is the reason why you have given this episode a 9 on this Good Tuesday. It's Tania, you haven't watched the episode yet? I'm sorry, boo. I have a flight later, so I had to do this a little bit earlier. Shari gave it a 7. Bree gave it a 5. Jada gave it a 6. Serene gave it a 4.65. I love that. I love the specificity there. Brittany gave it a 6. Shari, let me know why you gave it a 7. I'm curious. I'm very much so curious. I don't know if y'all heard me before, but Antonio was hit up the group chat and was like, is it just me or does this episode feel like it's a bunch of deleted scenes put together? And I was like, it's the great description for me. It's the great description for me. Is it echoing? No echoing. Perfect. We're locked in. Okay. All right, it's 11:41. I know I'm a little bit early, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. Y'all, I struggled through this episode. I wanted to cut it off, and the reason why I did not cut it off is because of you lovely people, because I know that y'all are expecting to have this conversation with me, because we have this great platform, because we connect over this show. I'm going to keep chugging along, but this episode really pissed me off because it was just so under mediocre, at least for me. Okay, Kobe, I know that you love the episode. You gave it a 9. Deanna gave it 5. It was really, really under mediocre for me. It did feel like a bunch of like hodgepodge of different moments and plot points put together that didn't really make no sense. So much of it felt rushed. Okay, I don't even watch football, and I am struggling with the football timeline. Y'all mean to tell me they go into one playoff game and now you win that game and you automatically go into nationals, and then you automatically go into nationals against Coastal. Y'all did not show us enough of the playoff season, the playoff part of the season, for us to really get invested. It feels like y'all are just giving this away. So once they win this, you gave GAU this. They didn't earn it. I didn't see them earn it. Y'all spent so much time utilizing the football to try to paint Spencer out to be this selfish villain. And then when they actually start to click, when him and Jordan are actually making sense on the field, we don't get to see none of that, only for y'all to just take us back to, oh, y'all on top again. And then you want us to believe when the strife come. You want us to believe when the conflict come. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. I don't believe any of it. None. Okay, none of it. I don't want to see this championship game, especially between them and Coastal. We don't get to see Coastal actually on the field and actually show that they are actually a viable team to compete for a national championship or go back to back to potentially win a national championship. We only get to see Coastal in the daggone office talking to Asher. Asher, pick a struggle. Kofi, I'm sorry, I know that this is your boy, but he needs to pick a struggle, because are you a coach or are you a player? Are you a coach or are you a student? This is why I also had pause with him pushing so quickly into this coach's position, because you're sitting up here divulging all your deepest, darkest secrets and or your dreams and nightmares to these other children. And yes, you are of the same age as these children, but for all intents and purposes and the circumstances y'all are in right now, you are their coach. We would be sitting and looking at Coach Mr. Montez crazy if he sat there and was like, can you please give me life advice, because I just had a little scary dream and it really worried me and I really just want to play football again. Oh, what should I do, children? We would look at Coach Mr. Montez like, sir, if you don't go find a therapist for this, what are we talking about here? And this is what happens when you push a child into a position that they should not actually be in. I think Asher is 100% valid in his feelings. I think he's valid in his struggle. I think he's valid in not releasing football just yet. But I don't like the mixing, the no boundaries. Wade and Jabari are not your therapist, and they can be your friends, but they need to be your friends off the field, because at the end of the day, you are positioned as their coach. We're crossing lines here, and y'all need to tell me you want me to buy into Coastal California going up against GAU in a national championship when all you have shown me is mess and drama and kicking and tea spilling over at Coastal, and you only show me Jordan and Spencer beefing over at GAU. Barely any football, but I'm supposed to be invested in this football game? Y'all can keep it. Y'all can keep it. It's just so many things are just not working in their favor, and I get it. I get that they're like struggling, maybe as a creative team behind the show with the 13 episode order, and then they got additional 2 episodes, so 15 episodes total. But this episode felt so rushed, so just disjointed, so ill-paced that it's ridiculous. Ashley has been in LA for all intents and purposes at least 3 weeks, and 2 of those weeks Olivia started to avoid him because Spencer checked her behind 2 weeks before, and you just went ghost on this boy who flew over here from London to see and support you. You don't have the conversation around y'all's boundaries, and y'all becoming a little bit too intimate, even as platonic friends, until he pops up and wants to draw a picture for you the day before he's about to leave? This man has been in LA knowing nobody but you for the last 2 weeks, and you have avoided him? Y'all's fave still got to do better. Her and Spencer gave nothing but cute couple steeds this whole episode, and she still got to do better, because the avoidant attachment style is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If she... Oh, the echo's really bad. Hold on. I think it's this. Let me know if it's echoing now. Let me check for myself, actually. It's a little delay for y'all. I think I fixed it, y'all. I got rid of that echo. Sorry, it was echoing through my whole Ashley part. But you leave this boy here who came to support you, and he, for all intents and purposes, is still operating in the parameters of the relationship that you actually set with him. Cool, you want to recalibrate. Cool, you want to move boundaries and shift positions, and you still want to maintain his friendship. So why didn't you have this conversation with him? Spencer, why do you have smoke for him just having a conversation? They moved in this episode just like Ashley was supposed to know to keep his distance, which she never even had that conversation. And then Spencer seemed like he don't even want her to see him ever again. So like, did you have the break it off conversation with your friend? Because quiet as kept, even though y'all weren't romantically linked, you still need to have a conversation. You don't just ghost your friends the same way that you don't ghost your lover. Let me see what y'all saying. Why there's so many damn time skips? So many. It's like they purposefully are skipping the parts that we actually want to see and giving us a that we don't. Or is that just me? Because all of the meat and potatoes of the story is in the time between that y'all are skipping. And then y'all popping back into the story at a point that I really don't care. Nancy says that it was a great episode. Child, I guess our definitions are great, are varied, honey. Kobe says, I will hope platonic friendships are possible. In the case of Ashley, he caught feelings. I understand because Liv been there. You spent almost a year with Liv and you felt for her. It happens. I don't buy it. And I don't buy it not because I don't think it can happen. I don't buy it. Hey, Kimberly, welcome in. I don't buy it because of the amount of time that they don't account for with it. Even with Ashley showing up, if they wanted to do this and they were going to skip 2 episodes with Ashley not actually around, they should have led with him having some type of romantic undertone from the beginning. I feel like while we could question just because of how charismatic and how attractive and how similar to Spencer, like London Spencer, artsy Spencer, Ashley presented at the beginning, he did not lead with any type of romantic undertone. So for y'all to pop out on episode 7 after we done skipped 2 episodes of seeing this man, and he only gave us platonic prior to, and now all of a sudden he giving stalker. Come on now, where's the buildup? Where's the actual storytelling in between time? Where is the even the checking the text at the cabin because you are ghosting this boy and he is desperate to see you? We getting all of this professional, like, I guess I fell for you, blah, 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 blah. You just disappeared once you moved back here. So now I realized that. Then he would have also realized the moment that he landed at LAX. The moment that he landed at LAX and he showed up at the Baker house, and then Liv started to get distant, we would start to see communication. You mean to tell me that this boy has been pining after this girl for half a semester or whenever, pops up on her to support her, but then also to come and try to get her back and remind her how great he is, and he allows her to go 2 weeks of him being in a strange land and not contacting him at all? Where the storytelling is, the math is not mathing with the storytelling, y'all. It's just not doing it. Y'all have to give us that. Like, I don't like when we have writers behind certain things and the plot points could be great, but you execute it poorly because you don't do a great setup. We jump from him popping up of Liv, I just want to support you with the books. Oh my God, I really just love you. Take all these pictures and don't forget about me because London is great. What? Where are the seeds? Where are the Easter eggs? It's jarring to watch. It's not enjoyable to watch, or at least it was not enjoyable for me. Is it? The echo should have stopped, y'all. Let me know if the audio is good. Nancy says, I think they're rushing through the season because they think it might be their last and want to finish at a good place. I don't think that they think it's going to be their last. I think Homecoming thinks that, or might know that, but I don't think All American thinks that. And I don't think that this is their last season. Just by certain things that are being said behind the scenes. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for Ashley. The story that they gave Ashley could work. They just didn't tell it correctly or thoroughly. They did Ashley no justice. And that's what happens with so many characters when their storylines cross Olivia Baker specifically within the series, which pisses me off. They go out of their way to position her and keep her propped up on this pedestal and not let her be accountable to certain things. And then the other characters are sacrificed in the meantime and between time and not getting full character arcs or story development, all because they're trying to keep Olivia in this precious bubble. But I see right through it. And she was dead wrong for not communicating with that boy, leaving that boy for 2 weeks in LA when he's from London, had never been there before, don't know nobody else. She's dead wrong for that. And yes, she's 100% right in establishing boundaries. Her boyfriend is uncomfortable, cool. We all need to readjust and set expectations, but you got to communicate to do that. This, again, just shows that she doesn't communicate, which, again, for me, just shows that, hey, you really haven't changed. I don't care how many cute Olivia scenes y'all want to give me in this episode. Y'all were going OD with that. Because on this end, she still was avoidant. On this end, she was still very careless and reckless with this potential person. On this end, Ashley has served a purpose, and now that she's back in LA and she's feeling certain things from Spencer, and Spencer has recommitted and given a journal and oh, I need Spencer more, so later for you. It feels very transactional. It feels very selfish still. And one of my biggest concerns about her for the last 3 seasons has been how she's moving about this world and not taking into consideration all the people that she quote unquote loves. You love Ashley. He was great. He allowed you to live a life where you got to know yourself, and he bought into who you were, and it wasn't including your trauma, and being in London just completely removes you from this one thing and allowed you to fully explore who you are. Cool. Now what? Now you have made peace with who you are in the space that you came from, so you don't have no need for him? You gonna go back to London and then what? Do y'all have mutual friends? Do you have a little London vortex that you're going to go back to? And now you did torpedo that because you decided to mishandle this boy? Ashley is the perfect... Ashley could have been the perfect plot device to truly show if Olivia has changed and grown. And she, to me, by how she handled him, showed that she has not grown at all. She has not actually changed at all. If anything, her awareness of self has expanded, but she has not moved or evolved in a level of selflessness that I think that she actually should have, because she pretends as if she's selfless. She pretends as if she cares so deeply about everybody around her, but so many of her decisions, much like her brother, her twin brother, are 100% self-motivated and self-identifying, regardless of how those things land on other people. And go ahead and write that on Reddit, since y'all want to be talking on Reddit. Y'all, I got news or something last week. I didn't watch it. I didn't read it. But apparently people are mad about what I have to say about Olivia. So there's more ammo, I guess. Because that's what this episode gave. While I think the writers are going out their way to try to keep her position in this good light, to me, if you're really paying attention to the story, it doesn't. It does not. It furthers the claims of how selfish this character is. And it's unfortunate because it didn't feel like she started the series this way, but it definitely feels like she's going to end it this way. And why did it take Spencer Checker for her to know to let boundaries with Ashley? That's a whole other thing. Ashley can kick rocks. I wish Spencer could have knocked him out back over the pond where he came from. Why? Why would Spencer need to engage in violence with Ashley? Ashley did nothing to Spencer. Ashley operated within the confines of a relationship that Olivia consented to, because Olivia was fine with everything that Ashley had been doing prior to Spencer saying anything about it. So no, Spencer shouldn't have put his hands on Ashley, which I'm glad he didn't. That's what's so funny this episode, little cocky moments. He was funny. Ashley caught feelings because the lines were blurred. Kobe says, I've been in Ashley's shoes. I literally got PTSD from his confession. Like, damn, I wanted to hate this dude, but now I feel bad for him. I feel bad, and thus we have the dilemma of men being open about their feelings. And that's not a laugh at you specifically, Kofi, but that's men being open about their feelings should not be a dilemma. And if y'all are finding it as a dilemma, then that just means that y'all have more work to do, because women deal with rejection all the time, amongst other things, while navigating this very patriarchal society. So if you think that the answer to never feeling rejected or never experiencing some type of negative feeling because of the communication or articulation of your feelings is to never speak about those feelings, then you just have the wrong mindset. And you kind of need to grow up and kind of like toughen up, if I'm going to be honest. And I feel like that's the thing, not just specifically to you, but to men in general. This is also, I think, a very real underlying thing when you look at the evolution of men versus women, specifically in our modern society. I think that a lot of women have had to face a lot of negative stimuli in our world, have had to face rejection, have had to face ridicule, has had to face just depressing circumstances, and we've pushed through it. And because we've done so, we are now able to articulate our feelings in a certain way. We are able to be very self-aware in a certain way. We are just able to navigate this world a little bit differently. And because a lot of men are still running from that work, you are left behind. And now we're seeing a very seismic shift between genders and compatibility, because we are at a certain level of emotional intelligence and mental stability, and y'all just are not, because y'all are still running from rejection. Is it uncomfortable? Is it awkward? Yes, but those are the very real conversations that need to be had. Period. Period. Like, just that. Do y'all really think that every woman gets the man that she was lusting after, or the one that she was deeply desiring or had fell in love with? It doesn't happen. And life still goes on. And I'm sorry that you experienced PTSD of seeing this, Kofi. But there's so much more to the circumstances of you professing your love for someone and them not retaliating or responding in the way that you want. If you are looking for the goal to just be as open and honest and transparent as you possibly can, and not expecting somebody to perform for you the way that you want them to perform for you. I would caution you to go into circumstances like that with certain expectations of another person, because when we have that, it kind of sets you up for failure every single time. You have no control over somebody's response to you. You have no control over somebody's feelings to you. You can only operate in this world as true as you possibly can as yourself. And then who is aligned with you will be greater aligned with you. And who is misaligned with you, hopefully you will be able to navigate away, and or you'll miss them entirely. And there's no good or bad tied to either. Like, for the people who don't get it, for the people who are not falling in love with you, but you fell in love with, you're not missing out on anything. Especially if you have that mindset. Kenny Ford says, I think the first scene with Ashley was a good setup, but they needed him to pop up a lot more and give that last scene a better payoff. It was rushed. It was rushed. Even Olivia communicating the boundaries off of that setup. Like, he popped up and said, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I wanted to sketch you in a photo before I did. You were running around calling him the next young black Basquiat. He literally is a painter and a sketcher. So nothing about that feels untoward. Nothing about that feels romantically driven. So for them to arrive at the end of the episode, and now all of a sudden he popping up in Spencer's backyard and he's standing up to Spencer talking about something, we just need a minute. None of that actually makes sense. The first scene for me felt very much so in line with where we left him 2 episodes ago. He showed up to be a great friend. And now all of a sudden he's stalker Ashley that just is jonesing for some Olivia. Child, I can't. Playing for Keeps says, Olivia goes to Jen, the girl who she was sponsoring in AA. This tells me all I needed to know about her lack of accountability and avoidant behavior. Points were made. Hey, Playing for Keeps, welcome in, boo. Hey, T, welcome in, honey. As told by Ginger says, oh my God, people do understand this is just a show, right? Like, come on, I don't like that they're coming for you. Girl, they've been coming for me for the last 3 years. It is what it is. But I'm going to continue to say, how I feel with my chest. And I think having tough conversations and calling things a thing and having counterpoints for how we have been operating within society or been operating within culture is going to naturally drum up hate, because it's kind of like I'm pushing against the status quo. Like, I have a lot of conversations against struggle love, right? And against specifically Black women being okay with and adopting struggle love. And I think that that's something that culturally over the last at least 4 decades, we have been taught as Black women. And now we're in a renaissance of like just learning to prioritize ourselves, learning what love actually is, learning how to take an audit of ourselves and what we need and then ask for that. So part of what I'm saying is just inflammatory because it's not what we have been taught. So part of the consequence sometimes for me in being so truthful and being contradictory to the norms is receiving hate for it. But I'm fine with that, because the people who need to hear this, people who need to be affirmed and validated in the things that I'm saying, because they are feeling the shift, they're feeling the struggle, and they're not understanding what to do next, or they don't have the words for it, and then they hear me say some words and like, oh, that feels like it makes sense. That's who I do it for. I was also that person, and some people had to tell me some things that I didn't actually know, and light bulbs. So hey Mac says, at this point the writers only care about Olivia and Jordala and don't really care about writing a good storyline. I don't even know if they really care about Jordala, if we're going to be honest, because why does Layla have to struggle at the cost of Jordan and his complete lack all around? It takes Spencer to tell you, Spencer and Olivia to tell you to go research some things and offer some solution versus keep throwing tantrums about how she ain't telling you anything and she ain't doing this and she ain't doing that. Like, I've been saying that. If you wanted to actually be a resource, then you need to actually be a resource. You do not, because this girl is your fiance, you are not entitled to every single part of her. And if you're not offering up any solutions, then she don't need to keep coming to you with the problem. Because until you become a part of the solution, you're still a part of the problem. Nagging her, getting on her nerves while she's still trying to process this. Why does it take Spencer to remind you that she's been dealing with this since high school? He was there front row for the first time. It actually happened in such a real visceral way. And then you still not get it. You still throw tantrums. Like, why are you apologizing at the cabin? Y'all supposed to move to a different space, and then you spend 2 weeks feeling like you're sitting on your hands and being idle. Meanwhile, you ain't read a medical journal, a Psychology Today, nothing. You ain't reached out to your contacts, your resource. You ain't called your mama. You ain't done nothing. And then you want to come and stomp your feet and click your heels together, pissed at her. You keep lashing out at her, not even realizing that that's a trigger when clearly it's a trigger. She has to teach you everything. This goes back to my live from last week when people were saying, well, why can't she give Jordan enough time to figure it out? Because in the meantime, in between time, he's triggering and hurting her. So no, he needs to figure it out on his own. Either come to her correct with some solutions or don't come to her at all. Because this is painful. She is literally processing and doing the best that she can. And Jordan is walking around because he feels inadequate, because he feels ill-equipped, because he knows that he's out of his depth. Now he's using these negative feelings that he has and he's exacting them on her as if, one, she can do anything about it and bring him along when she's too busy trying to survive herself. I used the analogy last week of they're both in, or she's in the ocean drowning and he wants to save her. So he jumps in, but he don't know how to swim either. So now he asking her to save her while she's trying to save herself. She can't do both. And I'm all for Layla saving herself. Jordan is a liability. It's too much. Every episode now you're having to apologize because you keep throwing these goofy tantrums. And this girl got bigger fish to fry. People have, they have destroyed and disrespected her daggone building, her business. She's still handling this case with patience, that patience losing her daggone mind. She's trying to mitigate herself on these men. Like, it's too much going on for Jordan to add to the daggone problem. He has so many other things to worry about. You can't even throw. You are a student athlete. You are a football player and a college student, and you can't even throw the football because you're focused so much on your inadequacies within your relationship, which actually has nothing to do with you, specifically tied to her mental health. Like, no. Jordan is probably the thing that pissed me off the most about this episode, and I'm tired. I am tired of him sitting his behind at the top of the grand heap like he's the grand poobah, ruling over everybody with no emotional intelligence, no self-awareness, and nothing but a bunch of biracial Beverly Hills entitlement. Take it somewhere else, sir. Your services are no longer needed. Hey Neela, welcome in, boo. Max says we really getting forced ghost Billy. The setup for Dion being a new lead is the same episode next week. Sheesh. I haven't seen the preview, y'all. Sorry. But I did see something about Billy coming back, and I was just like, who asked for this? Serene says, I think that the writers are positioning Liv as the voice of reason for the show, overlooking good storytelling and ignoring her flaws. But she's not the voice of reason. Half the time, her decisions make no damn sense. Nia Love says, I agree, Erica. They dropped the ball with the Ashley storyline. It wasn't believable to me. That could have been a better build up to the confession and some believable tension between them. Literally. Because also, quiet is kept. And Kofi, I know that you said that this gave you PTSD. And I'm, again, still sorry about that. But quiet is kept. Y'all didn't show Olivia's side. This boy did not arrive here by himself. Because she's in LA and because Spencer's here, she might not have been as comfortable as she was in London. So not only did y'all set this boy up and have him rush into this confession to rush the storyline along, but y'all didn't show what she did to actually get him there. I don't believe that he was just so oblivious to Olivia and he was making a whole bunch of stuff up in his head. No, I believe that she was very comfortable. I believe that they had very intimate moments and he did not arrive at that place by himself. But we only get to see this one-sided build-up, which wasn't even a build-up. No. Not when you are the same people who are behind the whole Damone build-up. Y'all couldn't find a quarter of that for Ashley and Olivia? You couldn't find a quarter of Damone for Olivia and Ashley. if this is where you wanted Ashley to be. Like, y'all should have went the route of keeping it platonic. That makes it a little bit more stressful. Because he here for the long haul. He trying to be a life friend. But if y'all wanted him to love her, y'all could have taken some of that demon and sprinkled it on them. Oh, all right. All right. Okay. Max says, I missed season 1 and 2 quality. What happened? I don't think we ever getting it back, Mac. I fear we're never getting it back. And he was still aggressive towards her, like talk to her in a correct manner. Who was still aggressive to her? Which guy? Because there was a bunch of guys doing a lot of talking in this episode. Which guy? Kenny says sorry, but Jordan's face last week when Layla had that outburst. It makes me think that he is in love with the perfect version of Layla that serves him and not the reality of her as a person. Kenny, say it. Say that. Say that part. Hey, Zinga, welcome in, boo. I know you just visited because you don't watch All American, but you're welcome to stay, honey, because all I'm doing is cutting up and ranting. Hey, Theanna says, what does All American have against platonic relationships? Oh, that's hilarious. They dropped the ball with Davida, Alicia, and now Ashley. Help me help you, Layla. You can't help her. So how the hell is she gonna help you help her? You have nothing to offer her. And then you running down there trying to run up on Ryan. Who are you to make a suggestion? People in the grocery line at Trader Joe's make suggestions, sir. You ain't be for real. Today or tomorrow. But soon. Don't do Jordan like that. I have to do Jordan like that. I have to. And it's his fault. It's 100% Jordan Baker's fault. If Erica's foot never comes off of Jordan's neck, y'all will know that Jordan is to blame for it. Because I can't even make it up. Like how he moved. He has absolutely no humility, but wants everybody else to be as humble as possible around him. Lord, I wish he had some braids like Drake so I could just be screaming right now. What is it, the braids? Can y'all get on that, All American folks? Can y'all get on giving Jordan some little biracial braids so I can scream? What is it, the braids? Oh, goodness. Max says, I'm going to need Olivia to relapse again so we can get some good right. That is terrible, Mac. That is terrible. And no shade, I ain't trying to send these people your way, but the fact that you could say that and you probably get away with it, ain't nobody writing no dissertations on Reddit, ain't fair. Because I don't even be saying that. I just be reading it off the screen because y'all said it. It's terrible. I do think Liv emotionally cheated on Spence with Ashley, whether she realized it or not. That's what Nancy said, y'all. Jesse says Bolivia haters stay mad. They do. They do. I need them to braid up Jordan's little hair. Next game, braid up his hair so I can scream all live. What is it, the braids? Ryan was right. Jordan was mad at the wrong person. He didn't force Layla to do anything. He never told her to not speak with her doctor, period. And not only is he mad at the wrong person, but he keeps getting mad at the wrong people. You mad at Layla for not doing whatever you want her to do. You mad at Ryan for being a voice of reason and support to her. You probably low-key mad at Spencer because you were there the first time that this actually happened and you actually handled it a little bit better. And he need to be mad at himself. He needs to do this. Plan for Keeps says Jordan clearly wants to be with a woman who is like Laura used to be at some point. Just give him what he wants. Which is another woman. That is not Layla. Go and find Chanel Channel somebody that is not Layla. Leave Layla the hell alone, please. Please, Jordan. I beg of you. I will take my foot off your neck the moment that you leave Layla alone because you realize that you are not what's good for her, regardless of how much you love her. And that's another thing. People keep saying in the comments and in my DM, but Erica, Jordan loves Layla. Love is not enough, honey. Especially if you are, and I have been saying this for 3 years. I said this when the whole Olivia thing was starting to pop off. People's capacity for love matters. And if one person is at a place where they need more love or need a specific type of love or need an intentional type of love, and this person is not at that place and doesn't even understand it, doesn't have that capacity, it does not matter how much this person loves this person. It is not enough. We can't make it enough. So he needs to let it go. He is dragging this girl, and then they wind up pacifying all of their problems with sex. And I'm like, y'all are children. Behaving like old married couples, pacifying y'all's problems with sex. This is not going to end well for y'all. Y'all have a whole nother 70 years because you're trying to get married of this. Emotionally unintelligent and irrational Jordan Baker and an overly sympathetic, sacrificial, navigating her way through her mental health Layla. I'm okay. I'm all right. Layla, please pick yourself today or tomorrow, but soon. Now, if Homecoming falls apart, what we do? Child, I think this might be the last season of Homecoming, so I think that we're already done for. We're done in the water. Dan says Asher having not touched a football in over 3 years is able to immediately walk on the field and beat up on guys who are supposed to be playing the national championship. Haha. The timing, it makes no sense. None of it makes sense. It is rushed. Jordan need to do some serious soul searching though. He has the potential to be great, but lacks focus and just spirals all the time. And it's always everybody else's fault. Everybody owes him apologies. I'm really surprised that Layla is even getting the apologies that she's getting. But I take his apologies with a grain of salt because I feel like he's apologizing for the surface thing and he still doesn't realize the problem. So the apology means nothing to me, honestly. They should have never put Jordan and Layla together, in my opinion. In mine too. I have been saying that. As So by Ginger says, Jordan may love her, but he is hurting her and it's painful to watch. She's hurting and he doesn't know what to do. So he just winds up making it worse. Yep. Serene says, free Layla from the babysitting gig. She already got money. She doesn't need it. Free Layla. I'm about to make a t-shirt. Free Layla. Erica, you know the writers aren't letting Layla pick herself. They can't resist having a wedding to end this era of All-American. They need to. We didn't have enough weddings for the rest of the dang on series. Nobody has to get married again on this damn show, and I'll be perfectly fine with that. Hell, I will wait for Dylan to get married. That's how serious I am about that, Swan. I'm sorry, y'all. It might be freezing a little bit because it says it's dropping frames. I don't know why. Might be the Wi-Fi is being weird. Speaking of ways, where's Carter? Apparently, Dylan be flying back and forth to go see him, and he flying in later tonight so that Grace can spend her little New Year's with him. It sucks we don't get to see him though. That really does suck. We have like 5 weddings already. So that is wild. It's completely wild. Jordan and Layla never had chemistry, in my opinion. I felt like it's obvious they had no real plan for Layla after Spencer breakup and needed to put her with someone in the group to keep her relevant. But the crazy thing is like she could have been the anti-vortex person, and I feel like it would have wound up making her the most interesting thing. Even though I feel like her storylines have been some of the strongest ones of the series, period. Her not being a part of this vortex would have been such a refreshing thing so that we would not set in this all-encompassing, everybody smashing everybody interconnected, only certain people get respect, only certain people get honored, everybody else gets shamed and have to apologize and bend over backwards all the time. Like, it could have really worked in the storytelling for her to not be a part of this friend group anymore, and I still see a part of Beverly Hills from this different lens. And honestly, like, I get them wanting her to lean into the like record label bag, but I never understood Layla not going to college. She was like prepping and was taking placement tests and doing all this like extra credit prior to, or like college credit classes. Like, she was top tier in her high school. So for her to completely decide to not go to college and then never look back at it, it made no sense to me. But again, that served the whole Vortex storyline that they wanted to do. So I feel like that was a huge misstep and oversight on their part, in like assuming that they had to keep her within this vortex or had to pair her with somebody to keep her relevant, because I feel like the story would have been the strongest with her outside of it. Remember when she was supposed to move? When was she supposed to move? Sophie says, Asher's storyline intrigued me. I get Jamie's anger, but kept the fact that she was getting off of her medication for lupus from Asher. Jamie's kind of a hypocrite for that, but I understand her concern. It's so funny that you can identify when the women are being hypocrites, but we don't do it with the men. Intriguing. Another poor timing thing. We have not seen Jamie for real be angry about much of nothing, and now all of a sudden we want to believe that she's standing field side, pissed off about Asher and some decision that he making. I don't buy it. I really don't. And then to your point, Kofi, like, she's also experienced certain things within her health and having to make certain decisions and wanting certain autonomy. So she completely should understand where he's coming from and why he's moving the way he's moving. So again, I just don't buy it. And then I'm like, okay, well, is any of this like resentment for him having the ability to be able to make a different decision when her prognosis is a little bit more bleak and it's not like recoverable? But then they didn't even lean into that particular element of that part of the conversation because they kept it very surface level. Again, another reason why this episode was trash to me. Because you have some really great bones for storylines that could be explored in a very nuanced way, but then you just choose not to do it. So don't tell me it. Stop telling me these little penny stories if you're not going to tell me the meat and potatoes of the story. Max says, am I the only one that sighed in disappointment when they added 2 more episodes? This show just feels so stagnant, but I can't stop watching until this iteration of the show is done. Ooh. Inside, I was actually happy for them because I was like, okay, that gives them a little bit more space and they wouldn't have to rush. But to see that they're still rushing, I'm like, okay, if this is what it's going to be, y'all could keep it. Kimberly says they all should have followed Ash's lead and got out of the damn vortex. And Asher was one of the main problems of the vortex because he just slept with 2 of the main ones. Penny says, I think they could have extended their friendship beef after Spencer and Olivia started to like each other. No realistic friend group getting over that so quickly. Period. They should have had her date outside of that stupid vortex. Clay was sitting right there. Right there. And Derek is fine. Here. Clay was right there waiting, ready to show them all what it is and what it ain't. But no. Max says, I'm going to just say it. Spencer moving back to Crenshaw was the worst decision the show ever made. Once it lost a foot in Two Worlds element, if the show fell apart and became all about ships. I don't think him moving back to Crenshaw was it. I think that was actually one of the best decisions because not only did it bring him back to Crenshaw, but it brought Billy back to Crenshaw, which to me added a layer of depth to Billy's character. The problem is they still wanted to center Beverly Hills without them actually being in Beverly Hills. Had the show actually grounded itself in Crenshaw and we got snippets of Beverly Hills, that would have made for a much stronger decision. So I will go ahead and disagree. I think that was one of the strongest decisions ever for that to happen because it winds up completing a circle on a 2-generation scale because Spencer winds up being the thing that brought Billy back to a place that he had run from. And there was so much they could have explored there, but they didn't let him. They let Spencer still keep a job in Beverly Hills. They let Spencer still be running after a girl who lives in Beverly Hills. Like, if he was going back to Crenshaw, then he needs to be back in Crenshaw, and we need to see what that was like. And I'm saying that was a better decision because for all intents and purposes, one of the best parts of the storytelling in season 1 and 2 was the Crenshaw elements. It was the Sean. It was the Tyrone. Who's the new big bad? We never got one specifically within Crenshaw. And then they also never created one within Beverly, and they could have. They could have created a better big bad in Beverly so that it's not, I feel like they did a bad job of they painted Beverly Hills as this oasis, this heaven. And there's still some struggles and some drama that come with the proximity to whiteness, with the privilege, with all of that. But everybody that's attached to like Beverly Bubble, aside from Layla, kind of used to get passes. Meanwhile, the villains who are in Crenshaw, who actually had real motives, who had real story, who made bad decisions. I'm specifically thinking about Sean here. Made bad decisions, but for some of the right reasons, they were completely vilified for the most part until they was killed off. So it's like, y'all decided to flip the script and move Spencer back to Crenshaw, but you didn't flip the script entirely and show the real, the bad, the ugly that come with Beverly, versus trying to paint it as this oasis, and then maybe spend more time showing the great that is Crenshaw. So I don't agree. I don't think that him going back was a bad decision. I think them committing to a position, and I hate that I'm about to say this, but I don't have any other words for it right now, so maybe I'll clean it up later. But them committing to a position where the proximity to whiteness is the best and closest thing to rightness, that is what ruined this show. Why does Olivia get to skate on pretty much everything? Why is Jordan skating on so much? They have a closer proximity to whiteness, being biracial. I think that's the part that if you really want to go in and audit the series and where it went wrong, how they decided to handle Beverly versus Crenshaw, I think, is the underlying issue, and how the story could never really carry the weight that it started with the really in-depth, nuanced storytelling, because they refuse to turn the same honest and truthful light on to Beverly that they did Crenshaw. And I'm not trying to call anybody that's tied to the show any type of racial epithets or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to liken any of it to specifically like racism, but it's interesting to me that I sit and think about it, of like, we did not get to see them ever really audit the problems with Beverly Hills, the issues with the privilege and with the money and with the waste and like all of that. And Spencer's the perfect character to have that narrative be communicated in a very real way, but they chose not to. That is the issue. Crenshaw is not the issue of the show. Hey Dominic, welcome in, boo. Where's Coach Kenny? Yeah, exactly. Where's Coach Kenny? Another storyline that they're brushing over. He has to go take care of his nephew, and he's gone for months out of nowhere. And we get no build up to it, no clear communication of like how invested and how important this particular nephew is prior to him disappearing. All of it so rushed. I keep praying AA comes out of their sitcom era, because while we all gotta be friends. Period. And he says, I'm convinced they ran out of ideas for side characters. They sending patients on side quests with guns. Patience going to sit outside of Miko's house with Layla's gun is the wildest decision they could have ever made. Like, girl, y'all are literally going to trial because this girl tried to stab you to death, and you already have video footage of you having a brawl at Layla's lounge. So they're now trying to paint you as the aggressor, even though this girl attacked you. So your bright idea, because this girl is talking trash about you on the internet, is to go sit outside her house with a gun? All American writers, is logic in the room with us right now? Because what? Toby says, on the real, I'm happy Asher chose his family over his love of football. Shows growth on his part. Plus, we knew the championship game would be GAU versus Coastal Wade and Jabari versus Spencer and Jordan. Yeah, but they needed to give us more episodes in between time, in the meantime. And then also, I'm not even gonna hold y'all, I really checked out by the time that Asher made his behind back to Crenshaw. So, like, I know that he said that he chose his family, but y'all doing a lot of talking. I need more actions. Okay? Y'all mean to tell me he reconciled this over the course of one whole day, and he having dreams, nightmares, if you will, and being haunted by his love of football, and now he decided to say that he's going to put aside these childish things, and now, oh, I'm glad you picked your family? That's going to be a daily choice. So you saying that means absolutely nothing to me, Asher Adams. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Nia Love says, I'm a Clayla shipper. That is her match, and I will die on that hill. We will be there together. Okay? We will be there together. Girl, this episode, why I watch it, and it's still an NA out of 10. The fact that we never got a big bad after Tyrone is crazy. I mean, they tried with what's her name, but she just wasn't it. Child, you so messy, says Olivia still makes me sick. I be trying with her, but she still always gives me a reason to point out, like, girl, this is the area you need to work on, and she just really don't ever be working on her areas of weakness. Plan for Keeps says, Patience riding around like a thug. I guess she will end up in prison instead of Miko by the end of the season. The way I screamed, you telling Coop that she forgot where she came from. Meanwhile, she was actually jumped into a gang, and you were literally the earth child of the hood, honey. You were the one crying on the basketball court with them little terry cloth shorts on and that little halter top. Seeing Coop walk around with her little thugged out friends, and now all of a sudden you grabbing Layla of all people's gun and ready to ride around Brentwood looking for Miko in these big old houses, but Coop forgot where she came from. You howling at Coop talking about you don't care about people running my name through the mud, as if Miko is running through the streets of Crenshaw sullying your name. And this is going back to where y'all came from. Miko ain't even from y'all's hood. She's a little white girl from Brentwood. What? Patience. Clearly all the brain cells have left the room. Can't. And I wanted to be on board with this Patience storyline, but how did we get here? You were just fine last week at the cabin. You needed a break from all the online chatter. Cool. Coop cuts off the router. Now we back and you grabbing guns from the safe and riding to Brentwood ready to set it off. Ciao. As So by Ginger said, agreed. Crenshaw storyline would have been fire. I feel like it goes back to not showing enough of our culture in shows, but that's just me. Period. Y'all got Billy back to Crenshaw and Laura moved with him, and we don't have no storylines of what this white lady look like in the hood. Not a one. Everything's all peaches and keen and blueberry pink. What does it look like for Laura to go down to the little corner market? What does it look like if they live in a food desert? What is the conversation between Billy and Laura when she's still driving to Beverly Hills to go to Whole Foods because ain't no Whole Foods in the hood? There's stories for days. So I'm going to stand on that. I understand your criticism, Mac. I understand the point that you're making. But me going a little bit deeper, Crenshaw was not the problem. Them going back to Crenshaw would have been the thing that actually kept the momentum of the truthful, dope storytelling going. But they decided to take the easy road out. There is so much that they could have explored with Billy and Spencer being in Crenshaw and moving all of those Beverly Hills elements and seeing how they would fare in the hood. Baby, that's an Emmy right there. Hey, Hisense, welcome in, boo. Hisense rate the episode a 6 out of 10. Asher didn't even look happy that he chose his family over football, so I know it won't. Points are made. Dominic says Kofi always support Asher. Always. Forever and always. Kofi gonna stand on business when it comes to Asher. Child You So Messy says, is Asher girlfriend, baby mama sickness cured? No, lupus is something you can never get cured from. Are we to believe they raised enough money for her last season and she's healed? She's managing. But lupus is an autoimmune disease that you kind of live with. You don't really get cured from. Hisense says it wasn't all that bad, but it wasn't all that good either. I'm still suspicious of the coach. I really want them to end this storyline with Patience and Miko because it's really annoying. The coach is a clown. Hands down a clown. The way he was jigging and whatnot. I don't want to read the man too bad because if it's going to feel like it's coming at the actor. But he's a clown. He looks stupid all the time. If Asher has 100 homies, Kofi is one of them. If Asher has 50 homies, Kofi is one of them. If Asher has 10 homies, Kofi is one of them. Period. Erica, they need to put us in the writer's room. Listen, I've been here. I've been here. But at this point, feel like it'd be too much fiction storytelling for me. I wouldn't even be able to tell like organic dope ideas because I'm too busy trying to work around and go backwards to some bull. Patience is such a poorly written character, says Dan Golden. Her story is, I'm mad that I'm getting famous. I just want to be myself. I'm angsty and mad at the world. And maybe don't try to be a pop star. Points are made. Hey, Erica James, welcome in, boo. Max says, I'm going to say it, missed opportunity not killing off Jamie and making Asher a single father, having his way in the world as a single father, balancing his responsibilities as a coach. I mean, I was trying to kill off Asher, so I think killing off Jamie would have been better for the core fandom, especially for Kofi, because I was coming into the season like, they got to kill Asher. They got to shake it up. They got to kill Asher. But Jamie would have been a nice little compromise. And that would have been an interesting story to tell. That would have breathed life into the whole Asher storyline. Coach Snake in the Grass was a clown this episode. Period. Nancy says, it makes me so mad how gullible Jordan is to the point where he doesn't realize Mac is using him. I want better for Jordan. I don't. I think I'm going to go ahead and step in and like own the fact that I am done wishing for better, hoping for better for Jordan Baker. I am excited for his ultimate decline and downfall because he continues to terrorize Layla. I am now in my villain era when it comes to Jordan Baker, and I want no good to come to him. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I want no good to come to him. Michael, love you. You fine and all that jazz. Really funny person. Really cool person. Really talented actor. But Jordan Baker can go to hell swiftly. And until he does, Erica's under his bed in his nightmares on the back of his neck, telling him to release Layla. Or else. Yes, Erica James, this is the live for today. I have a flight later tonight, so I'm not going to be able to be on live later. And members, I have my live reactions that's up already for you guys to go and see from when I watched the episode. Kofi was in the writer's room and he demanded that Asher didn't die. Demanded. Not y'all trying to kill off Jamie. Listen, we gotta shake it up. Player for Keep says, I honestly thought they were going to have Jamie die during a childbirth, but maybe I've been watching too many dramas. No, that makes sense. With an autoimmune disease, that's a missed opportunity for them to actually even show her pregnancy. That time jump, like I said at the very beginning of the season, the time jump only helped Olivia's character. It hurt everybody else's. I'm sorry, Eric. Everybody at work. I don't think the writers are ever going to check the Baker twins, and that right there, Mac, that is the problem with the series. The writers are never going to fully check the Baker twins, and they decided to center the series around one and or both of them at various points. That is why we have a decline in the quality of the show. Erica, who is on the #1 enemy list right now? Jordan, Olivia, or Asher? I don't have no beef with Asher. He just boring. His storyline is boring to me, and I don't appreciate him divulging all of his deepest, darkest feelings to his players when he's supposed to be a coach. But I have no smoke for Asher, really. I literally only wanted to kill him, not because I dislike him, just because I feel like his arc was done. He did a really great job in the 5 seasons, and he could go, and it would hurt everybody involved. But his character would have had a great legacy in a really great trajectory in reference to the beginning and the end of his storyline. So I didn't want to kill Asher off because I don't like him. I just wanted to kill him because we needed to make everybody sad again and make him do stuff. And he had already completed his mission, and I would never kill Layla off. It was between him and her in reference to people who have had really great arcs of story and could leave. But I like literally never want to see Layla leave, so Asher had to go. So I have no beef with Asher. Between Jordan and Olivia, Jordan Baker, because I really don't have no beef with Olivia except for like I do want her to release Spencer, but also Spencer is very much so cognizant. Like Spencer is not in the place that Layla is in reference to part of this is tied to her mental health and her feeling like she needs a certain level of comfort and like having to make certain decisions and feeling out of sorts and not stable. I completely understand a person like trying to grasp onto all of the stable elements they possibly can. And I feel like Jordan is very much so a part of that, even though he's being a damn menace. So I feel like Layla and Spencer are in the same spot, but I'm holding Spencer more accountable for his partner being poor to him because he's very much so aware of it and still choosing that versus and is not struggling with no mental health thing that's keeping him there, but Layla more so is. So Jordan is number one, top tier on my annihilate immediately list. I don't necessarily want to annihilate Olivia immediately, and I'm actually still trying to root for her to be better and to grow. But Jordan, I'm not rooting for him to be better and grow. I'm rooting for his demise. That's a long answer to answer your question. Okay. Have a good day at work, Erica. Sorry that it's early. Nancy says, I think the time jump was necessary. The show was moving so slow. And that was moving too fast. Hey Rashina, welcome in, boo. Meg says also Cody Christian is one of the best actors on the show, especially if you've seen his performances as Cloud in the FF7 games. So the fact that he gets nothing to work with is disappointing. I would not dub Cody Christian one of the best actors on the show, and I'm just going off of what I've seen him in, which is Pretty Little Liars and this. Greta, Daniel, Samantha, was Tay. Those are the top for me. Yes, the same shoe Jordala is the story here is a bottle and a binky cry about it. I cannot. Kimberly says, I gotta stay off Reddit. There's a clown on there with access to the scripts, or so he says. And he says, if you are not a Olivia fan, you're gonna hate episode 13. Apparently a big moment for them. I think that some people need to grow up because it's not even about whether you're a Olivia fan or not. At the end of the day, I'm a fan of great storytelling. So if people were like really listening to me over the last 3 years, a big portion of my issue with Olivia is not that I just hate the idea of Olivia being together, because when they first were like alluding to it, I was like rooting for it. Before she ran out of the daggone hotel room, I was like, yes, Olivia, you deserve Spencer. Like, this is it for you, girl. Like, yes, this is everything. It's about how they executed it, and the storytelling is poor. It is glorifying struggle love. It is putting a young black man in a position to compromise himself constantly for this girl who has a certain level of entitlement and privilege that he doesn't actually have, and she exacts that privilege upon him unyieldingly. I don't like it. So it's not about, and I know that you're not saying this, Kimberly, but like when people default to that within a story or within a conversation of the audience, it pisses me off because it's just so trite and so trivial of a conversation. The conversations that I'm having specifically are deeper than that. Nobody, well, at least I don't have a problem with Olivia just because I don't like Spencer and Olivia, because that's not the truth. It's not the case. I have a problem with Olivia because they're poorly executed. The storyline is terrible. They don't hold Olivia accountable for much of nothing. So she's not the best version of herself. It's not moving to a place of being the best version of herself. And I think that Spencer is a character who has grown at least a little bit, who is constantly trying and constantly forcing himself to sacrifice for other people, and he deserves better. So if they're going to give us some little trite something in episode 13 to solidify Olivia as a couple, but they have not actually pushed Olivia to grow and be an equal and participating counterpart and partner for Spencer that he actually deserves, and it still falls on deaf ears, and it could be the cutest moment ever, but it still don't hit. This episode, they was giving nothing but Olivia cuteness, and it still didn't hit for me because she still showed that she's a poor communicator. She don't know how to navigate black men apparently, but then still wants their love, wants their adoration, wants their time, wants their attention, but it's not meeting them with nowhere near what they are deserving of once you consider what they're giving to her. So go ahead, write your dissertations on Reddit about how Olivia is so amazing, and oh my God, y'all gonna keep hating. Maybe some people hate Olivia for hating Olivia, but I got very real reason, very real counterpoints, and why y'all want to write y'all theses, I got counter theses. Okay? Kofi says, damn, E, no good for Jordan Baker. Like, damn, Olivia been more problematic than Jordan, so good luck with that. But as for me and my house, I'm riding with Jordan, and that's on everything in me. Of course you are. You are a man. Of course you are riding with Jordan. Of course you are looking at Olivia Baker as if she has been more problematic than Jordan Baker, because you are a man and you are going to identify with your maleness over everything else. We live in a patriarchal society. You have been conditioned to do so, sir. So that is not a surprise to me. And that's not a shade to you. That is an honest observation. If anything, we can say that Olivia has been more problematic because the storylines have centered her more. But Olivia and Jordan behave the exact same when presented with similar circumstances. We have just gotten more screen time of Olivia. And if you were listening when I was talking, my issues with Jordan are more in that the person that is suffering at his hands is less capable of handling it. Because Spencer does not have the same mental health issues that Layla is dealing with, putting her at a compromised position to handle triggers from somebody doing untoward things to her. But Layla is not in that same position. She is easily triggered. She has abandonment issues on top of her mental health struggles. So yes, I am on Jordan's ass about it, because not only is he behaving in a way that's very similar to Olivia Baker, but he's doing so and costing and hurting a person who does not deserve any of it and is vulnerable to it. Let's give a game, set, match, baby. And I still love you, Kofi. But you know, your good sis is here to point out the truth. And that includes the patriarchy popping up off of your behind. Okay, Plan for Keep says, it's one of the better Turkish dramas. Still stuck on the Turkish dramas part for me. I have not ventured over into that part just yet. Bringing in another girl. I'm enjoying Asher and Jabari's friendship. However, Asher, let's be clear, with your heart recovered, Jabari will dog walk you 50% power. Let's not play. Bring that. Like, you want to talk stuff about how you would just eat Jabari up on the field when he was giving Spencer the business and you couldn't even handle Spencer. You spent the majority of the rest of your high school career basking in Spencer's shadow and plotting against him. And Jabari was basically the second coming. Yeah, you can't handle that. Pipe down. Asher Adams, pipe down. Dan Golden says, a great biography of Billy Baker, written by a girl who said she barely saw him as a child. And that he was an absentee father, that his negligence led to her overdose. Can't wait to read. Oh my gosh. The way that y'all be reading this girl, it be so funny. Jordan has been a menace since season 1. Let's not forget, man. I'm on your side, girl. I appreciate it. Rashina says, how long Spencer and Olivia together? Because I'm just waiting for them to break up. Olivia, girl, you created this mess between Ashley and Spencer, so this is your fault. Period. Hey, Michael, welcome in, boo. I'm responding to everybody's comments in the chat, so we kind of jumping all over the place in reference to the episode. Serene says, Spencer gonna get Olivia pregnant and they gonna get married instead of Jordala. Oh God, that might be where I gotta tap out, y'all. If that happens, I might have to go ahead and bid y'all adieu, and you know, Erica James will now run the lives for y'all from then on. Because when I tell you I don't want to see that, I do not want to see that. Child, you so messy said, can we talk about your poll? Olivia never loved Spencer. They needed to break up. There, I said it. Ooh. Ooh. Listen, child, you so messy said it. Micah says the episode was horrible. I see Jordan kind of trying, but he doesn't get it. And he said it the whole episode. I honestly feel bad for Layla. Like, the poor girl is probably tired. Period. Saw this coming. He working himself in a damn tizzy about how inadequate he is. Meanwhile, he's not equipping himself with any type of information or knowledge until somebody tells him to do so. Like, I'm over it. Nancy says, I think the season is going to end with Olivia at least getting engaged, maybe even married. They could keep it, honey. They could keep it. Jordan honestly wasn't that bad this episode. Says a man. I'm sorry, Eric, but y'all have these blindness to each other that is just you don't see yourselves, honestly, and sometimes that means that you might not see other men. Jordan wasn't that bad this episode. Y'all see how many tantrums he threw this episode? All because he felt like he's sitting idle. Meanwhile, whose responsibility is it for you to busy yourself? Everybody else's, but Jordan wasn't as bad this episode. Jordan was insufferable this episode. Jordan was breakupable with whatever this episode, period. Can I just say that Billy revisionist history with the books is wild, period. I'll say this though, I'm glad we at least got JJ up out of here. At this point, there was no way that JJ was going to fit into this travesty anyway. They was already doing that character a disservice. So yeah, he probably glad he gone. Plan for Keep says with all the issues Layla has, she knows weaning off her meds without medical consult is unsafe, but asking a partner to support you through the process is not to be taken lightly. She didn't ask him. Let's go there. She did not ask him to do anything. This all came about because Jordan is constantly making requests of Layla that are actually outside of her capabilities right now. Because he wants her to be as about him as he is about her, because he has nothing else going on in his life. He is making certain requests of her, and she is trying to meet those requests. She is only at a place where she was even considering getting off her meds because Jordan was weighing on her so heavily about how detached and unmotivated she was towards this wedding. So no, she did not ask him to support her through this particular part. She is handling on her own, and he is mad that she is not showing up in the ways that he wants her to show up, versus allowing her to do whatever she needs to do and going along with it, getting in where he fits in and not exacting his expectations upon her on his life. They both have lives and things to do, but Jordan has less to do because he decided to create this world where Layla was the center of it. That was not her fault, and she never asked for that. So respectfully, Plan for Keeps, no. His support could look like him handling himself and occupying his damn time if he feels like he can't sit on his hands enough. Go find something to do while she still figures it out. Because the craziest part about it is he judged her and made it seem like she's deflecting and not handling her stuff when she is literally working through handling her stuff, both physically, mentally, spiritually, all around. She's trying everything. And he is looking at her like she's trying nothing because she's not doing what he wants her to do. So no, she did not put in his head, you have to support me in this way because I'm doing this. She started to do what she needed to do for her and was trying to show up in the ways that he was expecting. And it still wasn't enough because with Jordan Baker, it's never enough. And I think that it's never going to be enough until she's at the point where he's at, where everything is Jordan in her world, and she's never going to be there. Layla is actually ambitious. Layla is actually very intellectual. Layla actually needs more things than her relationship to stimulate her. So Jordan is wanting her to be him, and she's never going to be him. Of all the characters, I can't see Spencer or Olivia getting pregnant. They give very much no need to rush marriage or kids. That is Jordan's department, period. Jordan Baker, best man on the show. Listen, Delulu is the Salulu, honey. Kenny Force that Spencer and Olivia honestly care more about their careers than me. As they should. As they should. Literally, Dominic, 5 minutes in, I was pissed. I really hope Jordan don't ask Spencer to be his best man and Olivia maid of honor. That's definitely going to happen. Kofi says Dylan getting his dream was cool to see. Also, his after seeing Jamie Asher argue, it was funny to me. Freaking Kofi, I mean, not Kofi. Dylan in the background was brilliant. It was such a great comedic moment. Loved it. And yes, him getting to go to art school. I like the little tension there. Again, we need more Crenshaw because I love the moment with the James at the James household. And it felt very true of like Grace wants to go with you and Dylan wants his independence, and the conversations that were happening on both sides of that. It was like, okay, I can get with this. I like this. Let's be real. Those final 2 episodes they added are going to be Jordala and Olivia wedding episode. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop watching episode 13. How about that? Rashida says, I think that Olivia was being a little hard on Ashley. And Spencer, you need to chill, dude. Like, Spencer, you are doing the most right now. It is not that serious, dude. I get it. You trying to protect her. But protect her from what? A painting? You moving as if you had told this man the man never talked to her again. And she ain't even talked to him. She has ghosted him and left him in a strange land for 2 weeks. Spencer, I did not understand your energy for Ashley. Olivia, you should not have avoided Ashley. You should have dealt with this as soon as y'all got back from the cabin. But whatever. Did I hear it correctly, or did they say Jordan went to New York for 2 weeks because he was a Heisman finalist? Where was Spencer? AA is a whole joke. I think they said something like that, but I was tuning some of this out because I really did not want to watch the episode. After like 3 minutes in, I was so over it. It was so much of Jordan top of it. I was so turned off. But yes, he did something for 2 weeks. He went to New York for 2 weeks, and he asked, was Layla like this the whole 2 weeks? Were you not checking up on her? But then you come back and you talk about you been sitting idly. You ain't been sitting idly. You was running around, traipsing around the... If Jordan don't have no enemies, I'm no longer on this earth. That's all I'm gonna say. Spencer and Liv had to give Jordan some insight on how he should help Layla, because why? Jordan wasn't there the first time and doesn't know how to help. And doesn't know how to figure it out either. He doesn't know how to try to be proactive. He only knows how to throw a tantrum and cry and whine and ask for attention, even when the circumstance is not about him. I think maybe he could make Layla pregnant and show how to handle that with the depression and incompetent partner. Jordan gets Layla pregnant and he's already not emotionally or mentally stable enough for her. It's going to go to shit when she gets into postpartum. And I pray that he don't get to ruin her life in that way. Eric H says, IDK, I feel like y'all would be on Jordan's head if he wasn't trying to be supportive. What about this was him trying to be supportive? Up until Olivia and Spencer told him to go find some resources, which was at the tail end of the episode, his supportive was crying about him feeling like he could do nothing. Meanwhile, he had yet to read a psychology journal or anything about depression or mental health struggles or anything. He had yet to do anything other than run up on Ryan and challenge Ryan because how dare you make a suggestion to my fiance. So much of Jordan's language around Layla is my. She is not your possession. She is not your slave. She is not your dog. She is a whole person operating in this world. Just because somebody says I want to support you, if their actions don't back it up, then guess what? They might not be supporting, babes. And I think, Eric, you are taking it on a surface level if he's saying, oh, I'm trying to be supportive, meanwhile he's throwing tantrums and triggering her, which tells me that you're actually not trying to be supportive. You're trying to be included and you're trying to get her to do things that you want her to do when that might not be the right thing for her. Being supportive is giving her space to process however she needs. Being supportive in a space where you don't have the capacity and or resources to do anything about it is trying to go on your own and learn as much as possible as you can. It's trying not to be a hindrance, try not to be an additional burden. Jordan was not trying to do any of those things because he doesn't think like that. He moves with a certain level of entitlement that doesn't let him fully be supportive of pretty much anybody in his life, if we're going to go ahead and be honest. Because being supportive of somebody in a lot of cases requires you to decenter yourself. And Jordan does not do that well, if at all. But I get what you're saying. And I think for men specifically, because I'm not just saying a patriarchy to throw in a cliche or throw in a hot topic term. I'm saying it because that's how our society is built. Our society is built on the betterment and for the advancement of men. So many of the ways in which women have been socialized is like, how can we support y'all? How can we serve y'all? How can we do whatever we need to prop you guys up? And because you are the beneficiaries of that particular privilege, you're never forced to think about the world in a way where you are not the center. And that's not no shade to you. That's just an honest assessment. And Jordan, both being a male, but then being a biracial male in a privileged circumstance with his white mama, he has all this other stuff going as well. So he's never been put in a position where he's fully had to stop making things about him and fully see the circumstances and try to figure out a way to add value to a circumstance, because Jordan walks in this world as if his presence is innately valuable. A lot of men walk in this world as if their presence is innately invaluable, regardless of if they're coming to the circumstance with no knowledge, no experience, no lived experience, or anything. And that is part of the problem. You cannot actually be supportive or be impactful if you're coming with nothing. But you don't think that you're coming with nothing because you think that yourself is something. And in this circumstance, it's not. And then you getting frustrated and not knowing how to articulate and or handle your own feelings around being frustrated that you can do nothing in the circumstance, and then making that other people's problems is just exasperating the problem. So no, he was not supportive. And I don't give a damn how many times he says it. I hope that makes sense. And I know that y'all don't mean it in like a I know y'all don't mean it in like a coming at me way, but I kind of struggle with sometimes with people like trivializing my criticism. So like, oh, you just don't like Jordan and you just saying it because you don't like him. Like, no, I go out of my way to give y'all the full in-depth explanation of my mindset behind certain things. And I'm not just saying it because I don't want to like Jordan. I actually want to like Jordan. But the way that he leans into his proximity to whiteness, the way that he leans on the patriarchy so heavy, and he's doing absolutely nothing to counteract that, which makes him harmful to the women around him, it pisses me off. And it pisses me off most because you also are a character who's operating when it comes to male on male contact, specifically with Spencer, who is a person who has had to come up with a single mom and a father that abandoned him. And he's put himself in a position to like understand his mom's struggle. So he has a little bit more experience with decentering himself and trying to prioritize others. And you can't stop hating this boy for being different and being good and being remarkable to others as well as to you, when you literally could be learning all of the things that you're deficient in from him, but you're too busy resenting him for it. Like, Jordan just gives me reason after reason after reason to have problem with his ass. He is a societal problem. And men like him are societal problems. Spencer double booking breakfast bit was so cute. It was. Layla will never be someone who gets everything handed to them and doesn't work for nothing. Right. Spencer had the same smoke for Ashley that Jordan had for Homeboy. Neither one made sense. Neither one made sense. As told by Ginger says he can't even focus on football. Like, bro, tap in. At least Spencer is still focused on his career that Jordan swears he wants. I don't believe for 1 second that man really wants to go to the NFL, period. But if he's given going to the NFL, he'll take it. But Jordan don't want it. Shari says Layla needs to get her mental straight before even thinking about getting married, period. Because that marriage is going to wreak havoc upon her mental. Micah says he kept shouting at her and she kept jumping because she's vulnerable. Like, it was crazy. It was so clear. And even that, like, you're not taking any type of emotional cues, you're not taking physical cues, like, you do not care. In the moments that Jordan is speaking to her, he is responding in certain ways and you can see it on her. She's reacting, but he's so focused on how he feels that he's not taking her in. But then you want us to believe that you're doing all of this to help her? No, you're doing all of this to vent your emotions, and your emotions don't matter. How you feel don't matter. Because you feel ill-equipped don't matter. It don't matter. You understand that? Oh, okay, cool. Rashina says if Spencer leaves LA to go to the draft, I don't know when it's going to affect his relationship with Olivia. When I tell you I don't give a damn about this relationship. I'm all here for all the people involved except for Jordan Baker being the best person that they could possibly be. I have officially given up on Jordan Baker because I didn't appreciate watching him in this episode and how he did Layla. So I want everybody to make decisions that's going to help them be the best people. And for me, that means Spencer and Olivia break up. Okay? Can't 24 says the main problem I've consistently had with Jordan is how he only shows care for his twin sister whenever she relapses. To me, that says it all. Points were made. Dan Golden says, well, you keep watching if they do this reboot with all the new cast. I don't think I can handle anymore. I'm glad to say farewell after Coop because of the Los Angeles District County Attorney at age 21. Oh, Coop becoming DA? That's a little bit too soon. Especially because she hasn't been doing law all this time, so there's no additional makeup. She can't become DA the year she graduates. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna watch the reboot. I don't know. It really depends on what they do with this current iteration, and then also how they handle Spencer. If Spencer is not involved at all, I'm not watching. If Layla is not involved at all, I'm not watching. So if those two are missing, they can go ahead and count me out. If those two are there, I might check it out. Shari says exactly, it has to be Jordan's way or he starts having tantrums. Yep. Shari P says Jordan leans heavily on his privilege. Heavily. Erica, Spencer displays some behavior that Jordan does, but they are not exactly the same because Spencer doesn't have the same privilege that Jordan does. And Spencer is not partnered with a person who's struggling with mental health issues. For all intents and purposes, he's not even struggling with a person who's still struggling with sobriety because we don't get to see that side of her story because it doesn't exist anymore. So Jordan gets handled the way that he's getting handled because he does not have any kind of kid gloves and or intentions when handling Layla, and he should. And I'm not backing down from that. Spencer gets what he gets. When it comes to Olivia and her dragging him through the mud, I pulled up on that a lot because you asking for it, sir. You letting her get away with it, so go ahead. But Layla, she needs more people to show up for her. So I'm going to continue to show up for her. And the way that he behaved in this episode was completely unacceptable. I don't care if you think that he was better than Spencer. This is still unacceptable. Why are you yelling at this girl? Somebody came in and trashed her whole damn lounge. Said that she needs to go home. The same girl who has abandonment issues, who feels like she don't even have a home, who's currently living in the Baker's household, trying to build a family with you, and you standing in the middle of this place that she just cleaned up with her own two hands after being gone for 2 weeks right after, and you yelling at her. Lower your goddamn tone. Love you, Erica, but no, I don't give a damn. And it's not about comparing Spencer and Jordan as it pertains to Layla. They're two different relationships, and this is where she is currently. I will continue to say this. Layla does not deserve to get less because it's more than what Spencer gave her before. Because Spencer gave her more than what Asher gave her. It still doesn't mean that she deserved what Spencer gave her and the lack that Spencer gave her just because it was a little bit more. I'm all here for women getting everything that they deserve, not having to inch along and suffer and struggle love while the men's figure it out. Nah. The men's need to come correct or step off. Period. The moment we realize as women exactly what we deserve and exactly what we're warranted, we need to be given more. But bare minimum, what we deserve, regardless of who came before us. That would be likening the next man that I date giving me just a little bit more than my Zach. And that's supposed to be okay with me. Absolutely the hell not. You coming with what I need or don't come at all. And I'll be damned if you're going to trigger me. I'll be damned if you're going to be hollering and screaming in my establishment. Do you own anything? No. Your name ain't on a lease, a deed, or nothing. Jordan, if you don't... The way that Layla could, based off of her position in life, humble Jordan in so many ways, but she plays small and she shrinks herself just to show up in this relationship, and then she still got to take the shit off of him? Absolutely not. Y'all, people want to talk about women emasculating men. This is how that happens because the men are running around here acting a fool and they're not taking the freaking inches that they're giving, and they want to take miles, and now you got to humble them. Jordan really pissed me off this episode. Serene said he kept apologizing, was still yelling. It smells like the road to abuse, low key. Very much so. Early signs. Like, figure out how to emotionally regulate, Jordan. because your issues and your emotions tied to feeling inadequate and feeling useless in this circumstance is not her problem. Patience has become the poster child for stupidity. Micah. Not the poster child for stupidity, child. Rashida says, Erica, oh no, I agree with you, Erica. They do need to break up. So as Jordan and Layla. Yep. Micah says, I just wonder where they're taking the story with Jordan and Layla's relationship. Like, what's the end goal? Because them getting married in this season, it won't make any sense. It won't. Dan Golden says, I was being sarcastic about becoming a new DA. This seems like the writers would do. It does. It does. And that, like, child, I could root for Cooper all day one day, but Layla's not struggling, Erica. Have you not seen her on the brink of tears this entire episode, but she's not struggling? She literally said that she's struggling, and you're saying that she's not? Lord have mercy. How you so messy says, to be honest, Layla can give Jordan back to Simone and tackle. We don't need that either. I'm not a big proponent of Lando's ass. Layla could do fine on her own, actually. She don't need to be with a man to have some kind of value. Not to say that you're saying that, but Layla would do fine on her own. At least until she finds her match. The way you told Layla to get over it after what Linus did to her. I don't think I said that specifically, but even if we're going back to that, like, when you know better, you do better. And all of this is an evolution. That happened 3 years ago. Okay? Like, I could be accountable to words, and I think I was speaking specifically to if she was choosing to stay within this vortex and this friendship, she's going to have to push through. I was always rooting for her to leave the friendship altogether. I didn't want her to be in the vortex because it made absolutely no sense to me. Period. But even with that, even with me rooting for Spayla's relationship, even with all of that prior to, this is where we are at now. She is a different person now. She is mounted different mountains with different struggles. Like, I don't, Erica, I really don't understand what you want from me in this particular part of the conversation. I can't go back and renounce the whole Spayla relationship because I don't think that the whole thing was bad. I think that Spencer made terrible choices, and I think that she was put in compromising positions. I think that the Layla character was definitely sacrificed for the propping up of Spalivia in a lot of ways. But just because certain things happen, and I didn't see it clearly then, but I see things a little bit more clearly now, and I'm a lot more passionate about the position I stand. I'm never going to rally for this girl receiving less simply because it's a little bit more than what she got before. She wasn't getting what she was just due before. So why in the hell would I be rooting for her to get less than what she deserves? I'm not doing it. Martin, chill out. It's not that serious, dude. You're absolutely doing way too much. I agree with you, Erica. Period. It would be nice to have more interactions between Laura and Lele. Laura living in the house with her future daughter-in-law. I don't know much about the dynamics of their relationship. That's interesting. Why I see Jordan throwing a tantrum about Layla wanting a prenup in the future. Ha! Because he really don't own nothing. Not a thing. Kofi says, I believe Jordan and Layla will make it because they are mirrors of each other. They will be fine. Too many people plotting on their downfall. They are honestly my favorite couple next to Ash and Jamie. That's fine, Kofi. I think that's also something to be said about others' lived experiences. I can root for something better for characters or people like Layla because I have seen stronger relationships and I've seen what else is out there. For a lot of people, this is y'all's first introductions to various relationships, and it looks a lot better than the stuff that you've seen. So you're like, oh, well, nothing's wrong with this. We just have very different worldviews, and that's perfectly fine. This could be your top. But for me, this is the bottom, barely even the damn bottom. So that is what it is. I think that's the dissonance that comes in when you are navigating relationships with other people who have very lived experiences. Like, one thing that I definitely know I've talked to you, Kofi, about, of like certain examples that you've given. I've said multiple times that I would want more for you. If you were in the circumstance, I would want more for you. But if that's not something that you could see for yourself because you have not been exposed to that, or you haven't seen an example, I can't be mad at you for that, and nobody can be mad at me for wanting more. It's just, you're not there yet. You have to see more. And I think that goes in line with what I was saying as it pertains to like some of Erica James's comments. It's like she's holding me to something I said 3 years ago, which and I don't believe I said it in the way that she's describing it or the way that she took it, but that's how she took it. So, okay, cool. Today, I don't want Layla to take what she received back then, and I don't want her to take what she's getting right now. That's the best that I can possibly can do. And it will be, Kofi, in maybe a year or two, maybe in more dating experiences or befriending people who are in a different circumstance and seeing something else, that you're able to cultivate a grander worldview around relationships and realize that there's actually more out there, and that's okay to ask for more. I think that that's something that comes with lived experiences. In my 20s, I feel like I was very much so a person who believed in struggle love and thought that women had to just work so hard to prove this, that, and the third to the men, and the men don't have to do but this and this and this. And now my view on relationships and partnership within relationships is completely different. And it's because I've lived more and I've experienced more. So, you said you're not going to listen to her hating on Spencer. Okay. Because I'm not. Why are you staying friends with him? You don't have to stay friends with him. In the context of her staying within the vortex, why are you still hating? I'm not friends with people I don't like. I'm not. I don't stay in community with people I don't like. I don't talk to people who I don't like. I don't do it. So I'm not going to watch a show, have a character make her entire storyline about her hating a person who she's staying in community with. I would still stand on that. But also, I'm going to bring it back to you threw her under the bus that line is right on. Okay. So I did. I was terrible to Layla. Is that what you want me to say? I don't know what you want, because I'm also focusing on where we're at now. Okay. You're beating me up in the future because of what I said in the past. At the same time, I was dubbed the Layla lover, the Spela lover, and all of the Olivia people hated me. Okay, great. Cool. Like, what do you want right now? What do you need right now to come to the conversation that's at hand right now? Because whatever that is, I would love to give that to you. So if you could tell me what it is that you need to bring yourself to the present conversation right now, versus attempting to, on every live, hold me accountable for things that I said and the way that you took them, let me know. Simone doesn't need that man child. Simone needs to find herself alone for a while too. Serene says Layla deserved more than this friend group, and the way the writers openly shamed her more than once in favor of Liv never sat right with me to this day. I don't think a wedding will happen on AA at the end of this season. Spencer might propose though. For what? But Homecoming will definitely have a wedding since it's likely the finale. They don't have to have a wedding. Why do we need to have a wedding? Is that the only option? Why is everybody going to weddings as the only, like, is that, am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. Do y'all got a memo, an internal memo that says that a wedding has to happen in the All-American universe or else? Because why? Does Homecoming don't need a wedding either. They're in college. If she wanted to hate on Bats for season. She's within her rights to do so. She's 100% her rights to do so, but that is not a strong storyline to me, and I don't care to watch it. Still don't care to watch it. The same way that I don't care to watch Spencer cry over Olivia not doing something for him like he was doing in season 5. You allowed her to. Layla looked on the brink of tears in the last scene. I thought she was going to break up with him, but next episode she's going to therapy, so maybe she realizes that Jordan is in fact a trigger for her. Ooh, I hope so. Again, I haven't seen the preview, so I don't know. Rashina says, I miss Spela. I don't think that's for Olivia getting married. I don't think so. Child. Yes, I do see him as a trigger for real. It wasn't fully clear until this episode. She never hated who? I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, that's not what you said. She never hated him, but it's her right to. Oh, I don't do the Layla deserve better trope. It's not a trope. That's not a trope. When you were passive about how Linus did her and told her to get over it. Okay. Okay. When did I say that she hated Spencer? Anyway, I'm coming back to this episode, Erica. I can't. I cannot go back and forth about whatever this issue is. I'm not doing it. I don't think a wedding is needed, but there's always a death or a wedding in these scenarios. Oh, because those are like the tropes that are used in dramas. It has to be. They gotta find something else. They didn't, because they've already misused so many of those things, so they don't get to continue and just throw another one in just cause. These are not party favors. I think everyone operate on the thoughts that these kids are 40 something, hungry for marriage and settling down. Cause why? They're all under 21. Spencer just turned 21. Literally just turned 21. No marriages need to happen on either show. Period. What time is it? Cause I'm about to get ready to get off of here. Anything else we need to talk about from the episode, y'all? Final thoughts? I feel like the fans think that if the couple doesn't get married, there's a chance they don't end up together. When the truth is, it could get married and still not end up together. So much. So much. There are high school loves that go off and live their lives and then find their way back to each other after they have had some lived experience and they have a little bit of perspective. But the way that some people are just so hooked on these people in this particular point in their lives staying together, regardless of how toxic, how triggering, how traumatizing their proximity and presence in each other's lives is beyond me. Because Jordan and Layla could 100% make it and wind up being in game after she's able to go off and live her life and he's able to grow the hell up. Spencer and Olivia could 100% wind up getting married and completely be in game after he's able to go to the NFL, grow up a little bit more, and she's able to go off and become this international, worldwide success, whatever, and then learn how important it is to stay grounded or find her way back home and all the blessings and the positivity and great things that come with being home, but still having a more clear worldview and a greater self-awareness that grounds her in something that's a little bit deeper than herself. Like the way that we toxically latch on to the idea of these characters being in game at every single point along the way, then it's not the end. Y'all want them to be in game so bad, but then you want them to be together the whole entire time. So then where's the journey? Where's the story? If we're at the end for their relationships in every single episode and every single season, then their asses is not in game, honey. It's already over. It's the most ridiculous thing to me. I do not understand it. And it's so frustrating to even converse about. I want to see some vacations. No more weddings. Yes. Some international trips. It's cool Dylan going to art school. Yes. Yes, they 21, but they live their relationships on fast forward. That's the one right there. That is the one. I think AA needs to wrap it up or do better with their pen. Child, something need to shake. Because also at the end of the day, they're doing the audience a disservice because it's feeding this mindset that so many people on various parts of wherever their attachment is to whatever couple or whatever character. Like, this show is, to me now, really becoming toxic for its audience because it's not teaching anybody anything. It's reaffirming bullshit. And I think that's where my frustration is particularly growing in this conversation, because I'm having these same redundant ass conversations with no growth, with no nuance, with no, like, well, not none, because some of y'all, we are having conversations. I'm not going to say none. I don't like to speak in absolutes, period. But it's like, oh my God. Are we going to speak to any type of growth? Are any of y'all going to grow? Or are we going to come on here every single week and spout who is in game? And, oh, our fave is our fave because they're our fave. It doesn't matter if he made her cry. It doesn't matter if this person did this. It doesn't matter. Nothing that they do actually matter because they belong together and they seem cute together and they're going to work it out because things just magically work out in life. And it don't take no real conversation, no real tension, no real conflict, no real processing, no real self-awareness, no real emotional and or mental growth, no real spirituality, no real questioning and or reflection, no real time for the changes to happen. They just magically happen. Mary Poppins is running around the earth and sprinkling on everybody and it's just getting fixed. I have not been rooting for this show to end, and I don't ever want to root for a black show to end, but in the place that I've come to specifically on this conversation in this live, I'm over it. I am so over it. I want to have the conversations and the expanding mind conversations around pushing people to want better and to see more for themselves. But also, if I'm just going to keep it a buck, it is so exhausting arguing with people about the betterment of people, including themselves and these fictional characters. It'll be one thing if I was actively like trying to say things that's going to be hurtful. Every criticism that I've given about Jordan Baker would make him a better person if he actually did it. And I get Reddit think pieces and you did this and slid this person under the bus and you don't like this and everything that I say is coming from a place of an intention of like, yo, we could be better. Once you know better, you do better. And it's never enough. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm exhausted. I'm over it. That's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna read these last little comments. Do you think Spencer will get drafted? Yes, unfortunately. That would be a twist if he doesn't and stay in Crenshaw to be a coach. I do think that he would get drafted. I don't wish that he does. I still would love to have him have a little bit more growth and be prepared a little bit better to go to the draft, so he's just not a typical draftee. And I like your idea of him going back to Crenshaw to coach and train and entering the draft another year, not coming from a college because he graduated early. That could be interesting to tell. Kenny says, episode was missing some key elements for sure. I think the way the show frames things makes people have unrealistic expectations of couples, to be honest. And then they get in these relationships in real life and they're mad that things are not just happening. And it's like, things do not just happen. Ever. Even when God is working in your life and sometimes things appear like they just happen. There's so many other things that came together to make this thing happen. Rashina says, I don't think these couples on this show are going to last, though. They need to be married this season because it ain't happening. They don't need to be married this season because it ain't happening, period. Plan for Keep says, well, since Nathan and Haley got married in high school on One Tree Hill, I think they set a precedent for Endgame starting early. Child. And that's one thing, but you can't have everybody do it. Y'all have already utilized it. Y'all have already utilized it. At this point, Jordan needs to see a therapist, Lord. He gonna stress me out. I'm over it. I'm about to give it to Jesus because I'm done being stressed about this show and the conversations around this show. Shari P says, I don't think Spencer is getting drafted. They've been hinting at New York, so probably there. Ooh. Like moving the series there? They stand more. Hey, says it just feels so different, like everything does. Micah says the story with Ashley was so trivial when it could have been complex. Like 1 minute they are best friends, the next he's in love with her. Like, come on. Yep. Rashina says the way Olivia being so rude to Ashley, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. Yep. Serene says also, is Olivia over her activist era? She dives head first into everything and then leaves it on the table. Oop! And oop. Oh, you said you do think that Spencer is getting drafted and he's going to New York. Okay. It's Audra, Dayla, and Spolivia, not all American, because the show has been reduced to those ships. Child, and I'm over it. Reduced to those ships, and then those ships are not even having any kind of compelling conversation going on. I'm over it. There's no saving Jordan, not gonna lie. Ashley is a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy. He did seem like a nice guy. Erica, the hate is because people see more value in being attached to someone else than being attached to some self-work. Ooh. That's so real. And on that note, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and head on out. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this live that was a little bit earlier. Hoping I have traveling mercies and a safe flight later. We'll be back in sunny California for a little bit. I'm excited to get back into my studio. The promo for next episode is so ridiculous. I haven't seen it. I just see this like photo of Billy Baker with these bright big eyes and it look like he got tears in his eyes, and I'm just like, ugh. I haven't even clicked play on it because I can't. I think even a show for teenagers in the beginning, it has so much to say. I'm sad now. It has so much to say. All American season 1 and 2 was so revolutionary in the storytelling that they were doing. To have arrived at this particular place, I'm like, bruh, how the mighty have fallen. Because the stories that they were telling and how they were telling it and how impactful and important the conversations that they were having, which to me feel like culturally was shifting things, specifically for Black people. I thought it was so brilliant. And now we're at a place where it's so trite, which is why the conversations that we're having around it sometimes is so trite. Or it's not necessarily the conversations. The arguments that pop up are just so trite and so surface level and so ridiculous. I'm over it. But I appreciate y'all, and I will see you on my next live.